Okay, today's video is for clients. We're going to talk about how to build a higher value external workforce, but it's also great for consultants to hear this because it gives them some context for what clients are thinking about. So let me jump into this. This is going to be a bit of a long one, but I'll try to move fast. So the first thing to think about is, oh wow, I have an opportunity to build a higher value external workforce. That's likely a concept you're not thinking about, and I'm going to kind of walk you through that mindset and how to do it. So the first concept, and we've talked about this on other videos, but this is a good kind of grounding. So the first thing to think about is that you've got two classes of workers for our purposes here today. You've got employees on the middle, right? That's your base operations. You've got some project managers, those sorts of things. And then you've got this external workforce that's around your key functions, your key operations, all those sorts of things. And most people just aren't really strategically managing that external workforce, right? So this is a great way to think about this is it's your flexible and agile workforce of contractors, and you get a 3-for-1 FTE. So for any FTE, you can rotate the skills within that FTE based off of your needs at the time, so you're getting much more flexibility. That's a key concept that tends to resonate with clients when we talk them through that. So how has this even come about, right? This is the evolution of the workforce in a way, right? So much more, and you're probably seeing this in your organization, much more the blue here, the employees, the core, is shrinking. We want less employees these days, and we want more contractors to give us this flexibility. So the way that this has evolved over the last probably 50 years is we started off with big consulting, right? For the longest time, that's all we had. I worked for one of those firms, by the way. It's called Arthur Andersen Business Consulting, similar to like a Deloitte or a PwC or an Accenture. So that's all we had in the market was big consulting. So if you needed, external workers, that was like the main place you went. There were a few other spots, but these guys dominated, right? Then we had this huge transformation around globalization and the ability to offshore, right? We did this really well as enterprise companies. We did this really well with our technology workforce, right? So we lowered a lot of cost. We drove it offshore. We didn't have to carry that employee overhead. Sometimes it's still on our employees. They're just offshore employees. But a lot of times we're shifting that to another contracting firm offshore, right? So much more efficient there. That was kind of 2.0 of the external workforce. Now 3.0, you've got onshore contractors ramping up, and you've got a much more flexible, dynamic workforce onshore with less employees and more contractors. So this is a mindset framing of kind of what's going on. So let's talk about the current state of the union about how clients are doing on this, okay? Only pockets of clients are doing this well, and those pockets are small. So are you doing this well? Be honest with yourself. The answer is probably not, and that's okay. There's just an opportunity here. Very few people are even thinking this way. Procurement is not helping. Procurement is not strategic enough for what we need from them. It would be nice if procurement was helping to build this strategic external workforce and manage it. This is also an opportunity for HR. Could HR drive our external workforce in the same ways that they drive our internal workforce? Neither one of those are right now doing a good job in this area. Procurement is just managing process. Frankly, a lot of times they're making it so hard with limiting the number of vendors, all those sorts of things, that the people who are responsible for doing the work at clients, we see them struggling to operate within the procurement boundaries and guidelines. So procurement has got to get more service-minded and strategic and partnered. That's the current state of the union that we see. It may not be you, but that's what we see 99% of the time. A lot of times as enterprise clients, we're too reliant on expensive firms. That's also part of the current state of the union. So we're real tight with Deloitte, or we're real tight with PwC. And every time we need something done, they got us. Because we can't get it done. We don't have enough capacity in our own workforce to get it done. And even though it may not be something we need the high dollar folks to do, the expensive consultants, we don't have enough of an external workforce of contractors, designers, creatives, whatever it is, the external workforce, to come in direct and do it. And we have to pay this huge premium to our big consulting partners to do it. That's very 1.0 external mindset. And we need to move way beyond that. So the other things within the current state of the union is huge opportunity to lower cost, right? So moving away from the expensive consulting firms is going to drive costs down. Typically we see by half. That's a big number. So you can drive down cost and increase agility, which that equates to increasing value. That's a pretty easy calculation to understand. Drive down costs, increase your agility, and increase your value. That should pass the sniff test for you, that there's an opportunity there for your organization. It would be surprising if it's not. So most importantly, and this is a unique way to think about this, there's an opportunity to create a differentiated asset for the company. If we're going to talk about our people, our employees, in terms of a strategic asset for the company, we need to talk about our external workforce, our external people, the same way. And if you are doing that better than the competition, you have a strategic differentiated asset that, frankly, I would contend is material enough to talk about on Wall Street analyst calls. I don't think Wall Street is clued in on this, but it's that level of a strategic differentiator for you. The way it's probably going to show up is you're going to execute initiatives cheaper, better, faster, and you're going to execute your ongoing operations cheaper, better, faster. And that's going to be interesting to Wall Street. But either way, you created a differentiated asset that your competition doesn't have to allow you to do that. It's an interesting way to think about it. So let me kind of move on to how do you do it? And I know I'm moving fast, but if I'm moving too fast, maybe just rewatch the video, but I don't want to drag this out too much. So how do I do it? The first thing is this mindset shift, and I feel like we just say that all the time on these videos. It's about a mindset shift. If you don't have this mindset that I've talked about previously, does that resonate with you? Is there something there that you can adapt and grow with? And if you can, it inherently means you're making a bit of a mindset shift. And that's what leaders should be doing. The next step, once you've made a mindset shift, is to create and share the vision. Test it around. See if you have buy-in from others. See if you take this concept, take it, steal it. Build your own slides or call us, we'll help you. We do that for clients all the time. But take this and socialize it around to see if this concept resonates in your organization. And if it does, all of a sudden you got something. You got momentum to move forward. Okay? A lot of times what we see work is the digital organization, because they drive so much change, can just do this on their own. They can build it on their own and then hand it off to HR or procurement to sustain it. That's an unfortunate reality, and it goes back to, we don't typically see procurement and HR showing up strategically. We'd love to see that. But if those guys aren't going to support you and you've got an opportunity in digital, just go build it yourself. Take your partners in HR and procurement along the journey with you and eventually help them take it over and sustain it across the enterprise as a best practice. The best way that we see, kind of moving on to the next topic of how to do it, the best combo we see is you've got your big four firms like the Deloittes and the Accentures, plus big staffing, so think Robert Half or Manpower, plus local firms, so just your kind of local technology firms, your local design firms. Our clients tend to love local firms. They like to support the local community. They like the hands-on. They like that they can, drive down the street and get in touch with them. They like that. Plus specialty firms, wherever they are, it doesn't matter. So big four, your big monsters, which you've probably, if you're an enterprise company, you've probably got those relationships already. But you want to keep those guys. They're great. They add a lot of value. Plus big staffing, you've probably got that. Typically, our clients, there's an opportunity to dial that up a little more. Plus local, our clients usually have a huge opportunity to drive that up. Plus specialty. Great combo to create your external workforce. That's what it looks like. Okay, so that's a good way to think about it. Invest in quick onboarding. If you're going to have and rely on an external workforce more and more, you want to be able to get them up, ramped up fast so that they start adding value fast. It's so painful to bring in new contractors because you got to teach them all this stuff. You got to talk about your values. You got to talk about your culture. What's the context of the project or our operations? Automate that. Shoot videos like this or better, right? Figure out a way to automate this. Get it on a website that's the place that new contractors go to get things done. How do you get them their computer fast? How do you get them their network ID fast? How do you get their drug screen, all those sorts of things. Get that whole process automated and get them ramped up fast. Build and manage your contractor bench. This is a bit of advanced math, but think about if you had a database, a tool that was all of your contractors that ever worked for you. And that was your contractor bench. And internally, you could evaluate these people, how they performed, the trust we had in them, the rate. And that was available because what happens is a lot of times our contractors, they land on this and then we roll them onto the other things. Imagine if all that data and information was available internally. Why doesn't that already exist? This is advanced. Frankly, we built a tool like this. It's called BenchWatch. If you want to look it up, it's called benchwatch.com. As of now, we are struggling and have struggled for years to get clients to understand. They tend to understand the value when you tell them, but to prioritize it and move it forward. You don't need to use BenchWatch. I'm not making that pitch to you. If you want to go look at more detail, you can. But the concept, think about that concept. And if you get big enough of maturing all of this, it might make sense to make that kind of an investment. But again, that's advanced math for where we currently see clients at. And then last of all, call us. If you need help, call us. We're here for that. We can connect you with other people. Let's just talk. We're not going to charge you to have a conversation. This is about you getting better. This is the business we're in. We're in the external workforce business. We're here trying to build up your external workforce, build their skills, and have a ton of those people available for you. So if you need help thinking through this strategically, framing it up for your organization, socializing it, getting it sold internally, call us up. We do those kind of things all the time. But the point is if this is resonating with you, do something about it. There is a huge opportunity here. So I covered a lot of ground there. And I tried to keep this short. Hopefully this helps. And hopefully you took some things away in terms of how to build a higher value external workforce. There is a big opportunity there for most folks. Hopefully this gave you some insights and some direction on how to think about that. As always, please let us know your feedback. We can't get enough of it. We try to make it easy for you to provide it. Shoot us a note, let us know how we're doing, and thanks for your attention.